Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing ghosts. Oh, no, no, no. I don't think it's anything like that. I mean, I'm actually seeing ghosts. It's a whole Ebenezer Scrooge thing, like past, present, future, all of them trying to convince me that my entire life has been nothing but greed and selfishness. Yeah, I need to mend my ways and be better about loving and respecting my fellow man. Look, you know the drill. I know you know the drill, okay? I was just calling because I wanted to know if you had any advice for how to handle this, Dr. Crane. What do you mean that's all the time you have for today's show? No, you just played the opening theme like 5 minutes ago and you said, "Hey, let's take our first caller." What what do you mean that's all the time? Hello? Hello? Hell. Alan Kelsey Grammer was born in 1955 in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. His mother was a professional singer and an actress, and his father owned a coffee shop and a bar and grill. Grammer's early life was filled with personal tragedies. When he was only a child, his mother moved him and his younger sister to New Jersey, where she raised her children with the help of their maternal grandparents. After moving from Jersey to Pompano Beach, Florida, the family lost Kelsey's grandfather to cancer. The same year, Grammer's father would be murdered in a home invasion. Grammer buried himself in singing and performing at Pinecrest School in Fort Lauderdale and was able to win a scholarship to Juilliard's Group 6, meaning that he was a member of the 6th complete class to attend Juilliard's drama division. He worked and studied there for 2 years, but after his younger sister was kidnapped and murdered, Grammer stopped attending classes and wound up expelled from the program. From there, Grammer won a 3-year internship with San Diego's Old Globe Theater, and in 1980 he would make a move to the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, the same year that he would lose 2 half-brothers in a scuba diving accident. Grammer made his Broadway debut in 1981 in a production of Macbeth, where he originally played the role of Lennox. But after Philip Anglem withdrew from the production in reaction to negative reviews, Grammer was recast in the lead role. Grammer would then wind up playing Cassio in a production of Othello starring James Earl Jones and Christopher Plummer. And in 1983, he would be part of the demo cast of Sunday in the Park with George, along with Mandy Patinkin. 1984 would see Grammer debut on the NBC sitcom Cheers in what would become his most recognizable role, Dr. Frasier Crane. He would get the job after Mandy Patinkin, who had been 1 class ahead of Grammer at Juilliard, recommended him to the casting director. And what was originally supposed to be just a 6-episode engagement would see Grammer becoming a member of the central cast for the rest of the show's run. The popularity of his role on Cheers led to other opportunities, such as a recurring voice role on The Simpsons as Sideshow Bob, as well as a spin-off for Frasier Crane that debuted the same year Cheers left the air. Frasier would run for 11 years and is recorded as one of the most successful spin-offs in the history of television, and it would win Grammer 4 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. With 20 years of playing Frasier Crane under his belt, Grammer is tied with James Arness, Marshal Matt Dillon on Gunsmoke, for the length of time spent playing a single character on television, but the record for the longest tenure of an actor in a single role belongs, as of this recording, to Richard Belzer for his 23 television seasons portraying Detective John Munch. While playing Frasier, Grammer also started picking up significant work providing voice acting, appearing in Anastasia, Toy Story 2, and Barbie of Swan Lake, among other roles. In the same year that Frasier ended, Grammer would appear as Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, the musical. His first major role following Frasier, however, was as producer and star of an American adaptation of The Sketch Show, which had been a hit in its original British incarnation on ITV. The American incarnation largely reused sketches from the original, and only 4 episodes would air before it was canceled. 2007's Back to You saw Grammer co-starring with Patricia Heaton, but it only lasted a single season. 2009's Hank on ABC would fare only slightly better than The Sketch Show, managing 5 episodes before the network pulled the plug. Grammer branched out in 2011, joining the cast of the Star's drama series Boss. He would win a 2012 Golden Globe for Best Actor for his role as a fictionalized mayor of Chicago who suffers from Lewy body dementia. Boss ran for 2 seasons, totaling 18 episodes before being canceled. A made-for-TV movie was originally planned to tie up all of the loose ends with the show's storylines, but without the participation of the series creator Farhad Safinia, it was ultimately shelved. 2014's Partners should have been a home run for Grammer. It paired him with Martin Lawrence in an odd couple comedy as 2 Chicago lawyers who become partners after their careers run aground. It was created by Robert L. Boyette and Robert Horn, whose names are all over the writing credits for shows like Family Matters, Living Single, Designing Women, and Perfect Strangers, and the show had a syndication contract with FX. Under FX's syndication contract, shows that meet a minimum ratings threshold by the end of their first season receive an automatic order for 90 more episodes, enough to guarantee the show will be able to enter syndication. Partners would not meet the threshold and would be canceled at the end of its first season. While Grammer has sometimes voiced support for legal same-sex marriage, his political beliefs have often resulted in him endorsing politicians and political groups that oppose legalized marriage for same-sex couples. He considers himself a staunch Republican and has declared himself aligned with the Tea Party on the issues of smaller government and lower taxes. He has been a frequent and vocal denier of climate change, and in 2016 told The Guardian that the person he most admired was Vladimir Putin, quote, because he is so comfortably who he is. In February of 2021, it was announced that Grammer will reprise his role as Frasier Crane for a new Frasier series that will debut on the Paramount Plus streaming service. Little is known about the series so far, except that Grammer has said the new show will follow Frasier Crane's 3rd act, and Grammer is the only original cast member from Frasier to have confirmed that he is returning, although Grammer has hinted in interviews that David Hyde Pierce, Jane Leavis, and Perry Gilpin have been offered their roles as regulars in a revival if they are interested.
Hurry up, Cratchit! Trust these fools to close before a man can finish his day's business. Cratchit!
Sir?
Every sneeze is a penny lost. Get rid of that cold.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge. Sorry, sir.
Lynn Ahrens wrote songs for Schoolhouse Rock and Captain Kangaroo, but she is probably most famous for her work with Stephen Flaherty. Together, the two are responsible for Broadway's Ragtime, Seussical, Rocky, Anastasia, and Once on This Island. But she would work together with Me and My Girl writer Mike Ockrent and all-around musical theater and Disney film superstar composer Alan Menken to create a musical adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Their stage play would premiere at the Paramount Theater in Madison Square Garden on December 1st, 1994, as a massive spectacle. Critics lauded the music while simultaneously praising the show for creating a lively, engaging event that had audience members actually dancing in the aisles. The show would become an annual tradition, running at Madison Square Garden every December from 1994 to 2003. Actors taking on the role of Scrooge over that time period would include Tony Randall, Roddy McDowall, Roger Daltrey, Frank Langella, and Tim Curry. In 2004, Hallmark Entertainment decided that Madison Square Garden's A Christmas Carol would be a perfect television event. Produced for broadcast on NBC, Hallmark brought in Lynn Ahrens to work on adapting the stage play for the small screen. In addition to a script more fitting for a television production, she would rework a handful of the songs, in some cases combining 2 or 3 songs into a single new song. Grammer was, of course, fresh off of his starring role in Frasier for NBC, and as is often the case with television events like this, the cast would include other heavy-hitting NBC talent. Jane Krakowski would appear as Christmas Past, 2 years before her role in NBC's 30 Rock, but the musical star had made her television debut in the 1980s with a prominent role on NBC's Search for Tomorrow. Jesse L. Martin appears as the Ghost of Christmas Present while still in the middle of his run as Ed Green on Law and Order, and it wouldn't be an NBC made-for-television musical if it didn't include Seinfeld ensemble alum and Broadway superstar Jason Alexander somewhere, in this case playing the ghost of Jacob Marley. The production was filmed in Budapest, Hungary, on a budget of $17 million and debuted on NBC on November 28, 2004, where it came in third against the competition for its time slot. While some critics heaped ire on the show's costumes and makeup, most eventually admitted, sometimes grudgingly, that they found the whole experience enjoyable. Brian Lowry reviewed the program for Variety, saying, "This is the 37th best production of A Christmas Carol I've ever seen, and probably the 3rd best musical version behind Albert Finney and Scrooge and Mr. Magoo. And even with those disclaimers, it's still pretty good." It would go on to win the 2005 Emmy for Outstanding Music Direction, as well as being nominated for Outstanding Choreography. In the years since its original debut, it has become a staple of the Hallmark Channel's Christmas programming.
Boy! What day is it?
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir.
Why, it's Christmas Day, sir!
You're my little boy now.
As the movie opens, Grammer seems to be preoccupied with illustrating just how old and crabbed his Scrooge is, with snarling and sneering aplenty. But as the production continues, he gradually settles into the role. There is no counting house in the beginning of this production. Instead, all of the familiar moments that open A Christmas Carol take place in motion around the streets of London. This Scrooge does make the decision to dine at home instead of eating at the tavern, although he represents a rarity in adaptations in that he does have a servant who is paid to cook for him. It's been said that great artists steal, and this version of A Christmas Carol takes liberally from other adaptations, including borrowing stage business from Mickey's Christmas Carol, as Scrooge dives to chase down a coin when Marley appears. But the appearance of Marley's fellow desperate spirits kills that action pretty quickly. We're given a lot of insight into what made Scrooge the way he is, and a big part of that is debt. Young Scrooge is toxically obsessed with debt and terrified of all the problems that come with poverty. And we get to see that obsession bloom into unadulterated love and lust for money. Moving into the present, the audience is primarily reminded that no production of anything has ever gone wrong by giving Jesse L. Martin a musical number. Seriously, the fact that Briscoe and Green never got to have a musical episode of Law and Order is a crime against arts and culture that we can never live down. But Martin's Ghost of Christmas Present is, in fact, hounded by the two children, Want and Ignorance. And while Scrooge doesn't actually fall into the grave in this production, It's a fascinating take on the grave scene, as this Scrooge is given a moment of hope, a ray of sunshine in the bleakness of his future, before the ghost of Christmas yet to come cracks open the earth in front of him and reminds him that, at this point in the future, it would be far too late for any hope. And of course, when Scrooge emerges into the light of Christmas Day, he has to head straight to Bob Cratchit's to let him know about his change of heart. I know I've said this about every musical version of A Christmas Carol that we've covered, but I really wish the YouTube content guidelines would let me play some of these songs for you, because Aarons and Menken really did bring their A-game for this one. It's catchy and hummable, and even in this made-for-TV rendition, you can see why audiences loved it so much at live shows. As far as the music goes, I'd put it tied with Albert Finney's Scrooge, but both of those are below Paul Williams' songs for The Muppets Christmas Carol.
This is my island in the sun.
In 2016, the show made its return to the stage with a concert production premiering in London at the Lyceum Theatre. That production would be remounted in 2017 and 2018, and in 2020, a full production opened at the Dominion Theatre. Due to concerns about a certain health crisis that is still ongoing as of this filming, the production was socially distanced. It was supposed to run from the 7th of December through January the 2nd of the following year. But due to mandatory theater closures in London, it finished its run early on the 15th of December. So tell me, what do you think of 2004's A Christmas Carol, starring Kelsey Grammer, with lyrics by Len Aarons and music by Alan Menken? Drop down into the comments below and let me know. While you're down there, make certain that you click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and also check and make sure that you've rung that bell down there. The bell is very important because that's what tells you if there are new videos uploaded to this channel. Of course, there's also a share button that you can use to share this video with your friends because, as you all know, sharing is caring. If you would like to see more of my videos, then you can see the Scrooge Advent Calendar right there, or up there, there is my Halloween countdown of Draculas. Until next time, watch like it means something.
You're my little boy now.